Okay, so hello everyone. I have my NVIDIA Nano right here, and today we are going to continue experimenting with Edge AI. So, in the last video, what we were able to do was go and get an LLM actually loaded onto the device, and we were able to then run it normally through Olama. Okay, that's great. Then we were able to go and say, hey, let's add a Python script to it. So from Python, we were able to invoke the Olama library and be able to send commands over and communicate with it. And then I said, okay, well, let's add some tools. So then we started adding tools. But the problem comes in when the tool, you add the tool, the LLM starts to try to use it. Well, there's a lot of problems that are coming in. It starts making up tools, right? It makes up a tool for anything. If I say, how are you doing? It says, use tool, answer question, or something like this. And okay, it would do, I never even said that there was an answer question tool. That doesn't make sense. I only gave you two tools. Lights, the status of the lights in the room, and the temperature, right? Like those are your two tools. What I'm hoping is when I talk to it that it is able to only use a tool if it needs to, if it needs a tool for what I asked. But this one, using it was making up tools. It was always using a tool no matter what. And also it was not asking for the tool properly. Okay, so I think what is going on now, I was experimenting with different things in the last video. Was okay, well, can we get a larger model? But the problem with getting a larger model is I only have 8 gigabytes of RAM right there. So when you get the larger model, actually it degrades the performance because now the LLM is not even able to calculate things correctly. So okay, that's not going to work. And I was thinking about it. I was like, how can I solve this problem? And I think I came up with a solution that I don't know if it's going to work. I have no idea if it's going to work, but I'm going to try it out. So the idea that I am thinking about is like this. Now I need the same model in my RAM. I cannot use two models, right? Okay. But I actually don't need two models because I am injecting I get to have complete control of the history which is injected into the model. The model I can view as just a static entity. Okay. Well, if that's the case, right, then what I think I might be able to do, and if the problem is my prompt is too heavily biasing towards tool usage, okay, what if I create like a two-step process? Every time that the user asks a question or puts a response in, I first send that singular request, singular input that the user just asked into the LLM, into that model, okay, with the system prompt that it is only to determine if one of these tools fits or not. Then what I can do is I can then, if the tool decides it does fit, or if the LLM decides that it does fit, I can go and actually call that tool, get the response, and then send it back to, then exit out of that process, okay? So come here, decide, do we do a tool or not? If not, we exit. If we do, we perform the tool and then exit. Okay, now we've exited. From here, what I want to do is I want to add the history such that the AI doesn't even know that it has tools. I want to say stop using these tools. Stop that, okay? Then I'm hoping that this will cause the LLM to not start hallucinating tools. This is my idea. I was thinking about like how will I be able to get the LLM to stop doing this? But then I realized, oh yeah, I can use the exact same model it's going to be loaded into RAM, so that solves two problems. Number one, I don't need to continually load my parameters from my micro SD card into RAM, which is a huge time hit. It takes about 60 seconds just to do that loading. Okay, so my model is always going to be hot, meaning in RAM. Okay, the second thing is it solves because I don't have two models, I don't need to load all of that memory into my RAM. I can just stay with the one model. Okay, so that's pretty cool and solves both of those problems. But then, if it's the exact same model, I can just go and be able to. Um, if it's the exact same model, all I have to do is change the system prompt, not the user prompt, but the system prompt, to tell it who it should be acting as. Are you a tool determiner or are you an answerer? And I was like, oh, I think this might work. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm very curious if it will. So let's come here, right? And so this is what we have right now. So we have this messages, you are a home assistant. This one was one that wasn't really working. This one is the one that we're currently doing. So like, you are a helpful, friendly AI companion. Talk to the user naturally. You have access to tools. This is the thing that I don't want to even tell it that it has access to tools because it keeps trying to output JSON, okay? So we are going to go like this, old, okay. So now we need to create two system prompts. So I'll say something like, well, I will disable Copilot first. Okay. So what I think I can do is we're gonna have to change a lot of this as well. Okay, but that'll be fine. So what I want to do is I want to say, let's see, tool determiner prompt, kind of like this, is going to be equal to a list, right? And we're going to have it like this. Okay, cool. So first one is going to be like role, right? And this one is going to be system. So we're going to say, okay, great. So you are the system, or this prompt is as the system, okay? And what is the content going to be? I want it to determine if it should use tools, right? So your task is to determine if a tool is required to answer the user's question. Okay. And we're going to have to tweak this more too. So let's see. The available tools are a tool to get the temperature in the room. So tools, kind of like this. Available tools, maybe. Available tools. Get temperature. Two is get lighting status, okay? Let's see. If the, okay, so look at the user's question and determine if the, look at the user's, I don't know, input and determine if one of the following tools is required. Okay. If no tool fits the user's prompt, respond no tool required. Okay, something like this. All right, so it's gonna be like this, right? So this is the role of the system, and then here. Okay. So I want to create a new JSON one. Okay, so this, now I'm gonna say role is equal to user, right? And the, hold on, I forgot this. There we go. Okay. And now I'm gonna say content is just empty for now. It's just an empty string because we're gonna fill this out. Okay. Formatting this a little bit. There we go. Okay. So now what I can do is I should be able to come in here, and I want to be able to have the user first get a question, or like ask a prompt, right? Okay. So let's see. What this should look like is I need another message thing. So I need messages, actual messages, right, is equal to, very similar, a list of JSON. And we're going to say, for this one, this is going to be role, once again, of system, but this time we are not going to tell it about all of this tool nonsense. We're going to say content is equal to you are a friendly AI companion. Talk with the user in a happy and helpful way. Okay, there we go. That's all I want to say. Okay. And then we're going to be appending things to this. Okay, so here's what, okay, that, I like that. I do like that. Let me take this jacket off, actually. Hold on a second. Getting a little bit warm in here. All right, cool. So now we have that. What we should do now is we're going to come in here. We're going to get the user's input. Awesome. We're going to check. That's going to stay the same. Now, here's where we actually want to change things. So instead of appending what I just put there, we need to change. Yeah, okay. So come here, and I don't want to do this anymore, right? I don't want to do this anymore. Instead, what I want to do is I want to come in here and determine if a tool is required, right? So what I want to do is actually like not append, but in place edit this. So I'm going to say tool determiner prompt. Okay, so tool determiner prompt. Okay, and now what is this? This is a list. So I want the second thing, which is a dictionary. Okay, so I want the 1th item. And now I want in that dictionary, key is role, key is content. So I want the content one. Okay, and I want to set it equal to user input, okay, which is going to be a string. Then I want to go in and actually do the model. I want to determine, yeah, I'm just going to delete this actually. I'm going to say here, I'm going to say use LLM to determine if tool is required / helpful. Okay. So now after this, I want to do tool use LLM response. Okay. Is equal to llama, right? Chat. Okay. Same model. We're going to be using the exact same model. Okay. Is equal to llama 3.2. Okay. Now, instead of messages, we're not going to be putting this message. We are going to be putting that prompt up here, this one. Tool determiner prompt. Tool determiner prompt. Okay, so actually it's going to be messages equals tool determiner prompt. Okay. Now we are going to do tools available pointer. Okay, so this is going to be the same. Tools is equal to, and then keep alive equals -1. Okay, so this should, I believe, as to my understanding, this keep alive is going to keep this llama 3.2 in memory, but it's not going to keep any history. It's not going to keep any context. No, it is just going to keep this in RAM. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get this. Now, I need some way to determine... I need some way to figure out, like, okay, did the LLM actually choose a tool? So I'm a little bit worried about this because normally the way that you're supposed to do it is kind of like this. You get the response, you look at the message, and then you see if tools calls, right? So it's supposed to be able to invoke the tools based off of the tool calls, okay? But in the last video, yesterday when I was working on this, it kept trying to put the tools like in the content itself. Like it would just output a JSON. And I was like, that's not what I'm looking for. And then it would just talk, 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 talk. So I'm going to assume that it can use a tool right now, okay? And then later we'll see if we need to adjust things. So after we get this, what I'm going to do is I am going to say, very similar to this, right? Like if tool use LLM response dot message dot tool calls. Hopefully it will have that, right? Okay. If it determines that it needs a tool. So if this, then we want to actually invoke that tool, right? So for tool in tool use LLM response dot message dot tool calls. Okay, so we're going to iterate through each of the tool, and then continue. We want to print, so just this thing. Okay, so we do this, and then we invoke the tool. Okay. Okay, so now I want to actually invoke that tool, right? So this is going to be a, what, function pointer or something? That's another thing that I'm like a little bit confused about, or like waffly on, is what actually is this tool right there? It's an object, and I passed in this like available tools, right? And it's a list of like pointers. Okay. So now what I need to do is, what did I do down below? So I just get the name of it. Okay, I don't know. Whatever. Okay, so yeah, function to call, right? So we get the pointer. So I don't, available functions, okay. And then for that tool, we get the name. So now this gives us like we are going to have this object, right? Like this thing, which we can invoke now. So then we just invoke it. Okay, so tool output is equal to function to call, okay, invoked. Now we need to append that message to something. But what do we actually append this to? Because now we have two separate message histories that we need to think about and be trying to be cognizant of. So what I do not really want to, because this might pollute, this response right here might pollute my, I'm going to call this my clean history with tools. And I don't want this history to have any idea about that there is something of tools and that you're able to use. Because then it's going to start making up its own tools. So let's but we kind of need to add the tool. So messages.append, and now I will just do so what are we trying to append? We're appending a JSON, and it is going to be role of what did we say last time? Like tool. Okay. And again, this, I'm gonna put a note. Say possibly we need to adjust this because it might pollute the clean message history with the idea of tools. I want that message history to not even know tools exist. Okay. So this might be wrong, but we'll see if we're able to do that. So now content, okay, is going to be equal to, wait, no, we can just append the entire thing, right? I believe we can just do this. Right, watch. Tool output, kind of like that. Oh, they're doing it like this. I can't remember why I did it that way. Okay, right now we're just getting the general idea of things. Do I need to put this in the format of role tool content, etc. Okay. So now that we have this, what I need to do is, okay, so we appended it, and we're going to keep doing that for here, right? And this is to our clean messages. Now that we broke, I want to have the response here. So I want to have the response of, like, okay, so response, I'm going to say get response of LLM with history that has no, with messages that has no history of any tool. Okay, response is equal to, oh, why is it way out there? Same thing, olama.chat, okay, and then the same model, which is going to be here, right? And now messages equals messages, so this is true. Okay, and now I don't want this, and I don't think I need this. I don't need tools field, and I also think keep alive will continue to be set such that the model remains in RAM indefinitely, even or from my last Olama call. Okay, so we get that response back. Okay, and this should be clean. It should just be a conversational one. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to append this message to oh wait, I'm dumb. This is gonna be a string. That's not gonna work. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. Now let's try to use our brains today. Okay. So we do need to do this. Role here is going to be tool. Okay. Again, I don't like that. But then content is going to be equal to, and now this is the string, right? So tool output like that. Okay. And now here they're doing name. I don't know what name is, so whatever. Name is equal to, oh, I really do not like that we put this here. Tool.function.name. I really do not like this. I don't want my history being polluted. Do I really need to put that name field and so much information about tools in this clean history? Okay, I don't like that at all, but we'll see. Okay, so now I get this response here, and it should be clean. And now I want to append that response. And now this is coming from Olama, which we can actually directly like append to, right? So messages dot append we are appending that response, right? Okay. Now I am going to print the response. So print response dot messages dot content, kind of like that. Okay. Let's see if I can push this. Hold on a second. Let me try to push this back a little bit, which then means that I can move this back a little bit and then rest my, there we go, a little bit better. Okay, so content right there, okay. And so now we've printed this to the screen, okay, and we should be able to go right back up. Okay. So let's actually go, and before we do the whole thing where we need to run it and all of this, let's just do something a lot simpler and see this. I'm just gonna even delete this part, although I don't think I need it. I'll keep it actually. Here is my updated method to try to avoid the tool the LLM constantly using tools that don't exist. Problem number one, always using tools even when it is not required, and not using and sending me utilizing the tool incorrectly as written JSON in the message. What do you think of my solution? Okay. So we can do that, and we might as well actually just start working on. See, this one, I think I can delete this one. Which one is logged in? This one's logged in. Okay, so I can delete this. All right, so we are going to go into desktop and AI and examples, okay? And now we should see this Jetson. There we go. So we are going to cat into our Jetson right here, and we're going to cat this entire thing right there. And now I should be able to Python 3. Let's just see. It might not even compile. We might have gotten some compilation errors. Jetson. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. So it kept failing. It kept looking for a microphone tool. This is what we kept getting. So let's see. Right now what it's going to do is it needs to load everything into RAM. Okay, so that's actually kind of normal. It takes a long time. It takes about 60 seconds. Then if it decided to use a tool, we're going to see that thing like print or something like that. Or sorry, not print, but thinking use a tool. We don't want to see that. Okay, well, we got an error, so that's something. Chat response has no... All right. So which one? Oh, is it message singular? Messages, okay. It might be this one right there. It might not like that. What do you do there? Okay, which line? Did it say what line? Line 67. Okay. Response.message singular. Okay. Okay. So, all right, whatever. Them. Okay. Now let's because it's just one simple change. We'll just do it here. We don't need to copy and paste everything. This one. There we go. Okay, so now we're gonna do the exact same thing, like Python 3 here. Can you hear me? Okay. Now hopefully this will respond really quickly. So it did respond very quickly, but nothing. It responded nothing. What is your name? Awesome. This is okay, so it tried to get a tool, right? is it 64? Which 64? Here. Okay, no, it did not try to get a thing, but what is it upset about? Hold on, let me make this a little bit. Okay. Here, field required. Type is missing. All right, well, this is the, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna go like this. I'm gonna let this determine that, because this seems more just like a formatting thing of like how Olama is expecting. All right, so this is the router pattern, and it's okay. That's great. So by splitting the logic into two separate brains, one that decides if a tool is needed and one that just talks, you've created a much more robust system. So interesting. I'm gonna write down router pattern as well, because I'm trying to find things that if I get into, or if I notice something that I feel, oh, this might actually be a lot broader topic that I can look up on my own. Awesome. Okay, so then I'm gonna go and research it more. So I have a whole list of stuff that, anyways, router pattern. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna look that up, but we'll do it right now as well. But I just want to make sure that I don't forget about it and spend some time looking it up. By splitting your logic into two separate brains, one that decides if a tool is needed and one that just talks to you, you've created a much more robust system. Why your solution is clever. Separation of concerns. Your conversation LLM doesn't even know tools exist. Exactly. That's exactly what I want. This completely eliminates the JSON leak because the model doesn't have the tool schema in the context window. Yes, to get confused by. Prompt engineering. You give the tool determiner prompt very strict robotic instructions while keeping the main message prompt warm and friendly. Yes, yes, this is what I was trying to do. Yes. All right, so memory efficiency. Since you are using the same model, Llama 3.2, both calls, and you set keep alive, the model stays in the Jetsons RAM. Switching context between the two prompts is nearly instantaneous. Yes! Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to do. All right. Issues in your current code and how to fix them. There are a few technical bugs in your script that will cause a crash or forget what you said. So, the tool role pollution. You mentioned wanting to keep message history clean, but you are still appending a role tool message to your messages array. Yeah. So this is what I was like, I don't really know about this. The standard chat API will throw an error if it sees tool message without a preceding assistant message. Okay. So we need an assistant message. And what is assistant? That is the role of assistant is the LLM, I believe. Okay. So it's getting upset because I gave it a tool. But I did not have the LLM requesting one. Okay. So the standard chat will throw the chat API will throw an error if it sees tool message without a preceding assistant message containing a tool call. Yeah. More importantly, if the LLM doesn't know what the tool is, seeing content 20 degrees from a role tool will confuse it. So what we should do is append the tool output as user or system message instead, or simply bake it into the next prompt. Okay. Okay. I'm seeing how that's going. And then this, Olama Python library, the response object is here singular. Okay. So here's how they're doing it. So we get the tool output, but don't put it in the permanent history. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we are going to context info. Okay, so where is this defined? Is nothing. Okay, so it's an empty string. We come in here and we build it, right? So then we just say internal system no, right? And now add the user's input to history. So we do role user content user input. Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Now create a temporary view for the LLM that includes the tool data. We don't append this to the permanent message list to keep it clean. Ah, okay. Interesting. Okay, so what I'm going to do actually now is I'm going to git add here, git commit -m, attempting a new method of breaking my system prompts to the LLM into two separate histories as to provide clean states to both the tool determiner and the what? The what did I call it? Assistant? Companion. Is it CA or CO? I have no idea. Okay, let's actually it should say here. Oh, it doesn't. Okay. And then talking about Chinese translation. Okay. By the way, so this is actually something that I've realized with some of the AI models is I will try to talk to the not the local ones, but I mean like whatever Gemini or Open GPT, Gemini or Chat GPT. Sometimes if you will speak to them in Chinese for a long time and then try to switch back to English, they'll continue in Chinese, and I'll be like, "Speak to me in English." Nope. They just keep on going in Chinese, and it's like, okay, can you say it in English? And then maybe they'll say that one sentence in English and then go right back to speaking Chinese. And I'm like, okay, fine. I guess we are. I guess you are. I guess we have to just speak Chinese. So then, I. But yeah, so that's something that I have realized. So maybe they haven't done that. Well, which one was it? It was like I think it was Meta's like chat where you do it within the actual like messages, like Facebook messages or something like that. I can't remember which LLM it was, but I remember it was like, can we just talk in English? And it wouldn't talk in English. So I'm like, okay, fine. I guess it's Chinese Chinese time. So yeah. Anyways, companion. Okay. Companion. COM. Okay. Yeah. COMPA. Companion. Okay, and let's come up here and make this correct as well. AI companion. Okay, there we go. And now we can come back to here and just close all these tabs. What's this? Okay, we can close that. And this is when I was practicing like yesterday. I was like, hey, I wonder if we can even input Chinese. So I'm going to keep this open actually. This is when I was trying to like, okay, Judson, I think we're good with all of this, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. There we go. So now what we can do is okay, companion and the companion, right? So now we got that. So let's try to start implementing this. All right. Move this over so that it's just like this, and then move that. There we go. Okay. So now, oh, it's way back to the very top. Okay. So I'm just going to try to keep looking at this and try to understand, okay, what actually is happening here. So what we can do is function call, right? We get that. And then we just add this to a string. So we're continually adding to a string, okay? Then we do the appending the user input. So we tell the clean history what the user asked for, okay? Tell that, okay? And now what we do is we copy this entire message history, okay? The clean message history, and we have this temp. So if context info, so like if we have this here, right? Then we will inject at the last position content, okay, is equal to context plus equals context info. So we're going to be getting this last thing of user input and sneaking this into the last message, yeah, and then getting that response, okay, and then printing the response and then adding that response to the LLM. Okay. So this kind of makes sense. Instead of this messages here, we're not going to be doing this. We're going to get rid of this. Okay. Get rid of you. And we get rid of you. Okay. And we get rid of you. This is why I wanted to commit, because I wanted a kind of history of those questions that I had. Okay, so now I should be able to come in here and we are going to say, what is it, message history, or like context info is equal to an empty string. And now I'm going to say context info plus equals. Can we do plus equals to a string? I thought strings were like immutable. So it's creating a new one, right? Okay, yeah, then that would make sense. So F, new line, awesome, and internal system note is the invocation of this tool output. So function to call here. Come on. Function to call and invoke it. Okay. So now what I can do is I will add okay, so come through here, we do all this, and now we need to create the temporary one, right? Okay, so I now have this extra context info. So all I've done is change the string so far. Okay, so it doesn't know anything about any of the other stuff. It just, all the history knows is nothing so far. So now I want to go in and add that message to, so messages dot append, okay, and now do I need the actual thing of here? Yeah, okay. Role, user, all of this, okay. Like that. User input, so we're just putting in that user input, okay, to the clean message, okay. Now what we are doing is I want to create a new, like, semi-dirty one, right? Dirty message history, which will contain tool but will not continue to be added to the clean message history. Okay, like this. So message copy, okay, is going to be, I like the way that they say it, temp oops, messages is equal to messages, okay, messages, and then dot copy. Now this goes back into all of those things about, like, what is a deep and shallow copy within Python, and how are those operating, right? Okay, so not something that I immediately want to jump into right now, but it is something that I need to look into. But apparently this is just going to be what, a shallow no, deep copy, right? Because it copies everything, I guess. I don't know. And now we can check. Okay, so we can check if we have this context info. So if context info, and this is falsy up here, but if something is added, it is not falsy. If context info, then what do? We want to append the message here. So if here, temp messages, and this is going to be a list, so it's going to be the last one. I'm trying not to look over there at this. I'm not looking at this. Then I want to index the what, like context or content, right? And now I want to take that content plus equals, and I want to append this context info to it. Okay, so now I want to, oh, which one do I want to do? I want to invoke the LLM, right, with this kind of semi-dirty message history, but then I want to append the response. So we've already done the user input, and now I want to invoke it. I think I want to do this, like, I think I do want to get this, but with the not messages. This should be although if we copy it over from messages each time, it's going to be clean at this. It's not going to update if we don't have it here, and then it would update. So we could do something like temp messages right there, I think. Temp messages, right? And then we append clean messages, right? That response here, and print the content. Let's see if that's what they kind of did. Temp messages, print, and okay. Number one, sure, tell me more about this method and how I might be able to use it for the Chinese/English idea which I had. But focus. Actually, I'm not gonna say sure. Tell me more about this method. Keep it high level and let's focus on the technique and the problems which it solves. I want to understand the method fully. Okay, so number two is going to be this here, and I'm going to say here is my updated. I don't even want to really ask it right now. I just want to have it say this. Okay. Because I want it to actually go and do the entire thing. I don't want it to break it up into like 1, 2 kind of thing. All right, so what if we just come here and we just cat this? Like cat, I don't know if this is going to actually like work. Can you hear me? Let's see if it breaks. It's way too long. I'm glad you asked. I'm a large language. I don't have ears or physical. This sounds much better. Okay. How is your day today? I am excited to talk with you. I have so many stories to tell you. Do you have any stories for me? Okay, and then once it does this, I'm gonna. Okay. So darn. I thought we were getting somewhere. I was gonna ask it about then try to invoke a tool, but obviously that is not working. Like even this isn't working. Great, good. All right, so let's just come here. Okay, so this router or two-step method is a classic architectural pattern in agentic AI. It treats the LLM like a specialized worker rather than a general purpose one. Okay, so is this talking kind of about like sub agents and like how is this connected to sub agents, right? All right. So All right, we get a lot of keywords, which you know what happens with keywords. They go right on my paper. Okay, so router pattern, and then I'm going to put in parentheses specialized worker. Okay, specialized worker, rather than a general purpose one, by separating intent recognition. So intent recognition decision from content generation. So versus content generation. And so what I'm doing with all of these keywords is essentially what I'm going to do is you never know when you are going to stumble upon a gold mine of information. So one of these keywords might lead me to a video on YouTube or wherever that I'm just like, oh, there's a whole world about this and people have already been going down this path and it's like something that's already there and I can leverage all of that knowledge. So, okay, great. You solve the most common hallucination problems that plague smaller models. This secretary and the speaker. Think of your system as a two-person office. So the secretary, this is your first Olama chat. Their only job is to look at the mail, the user input, okay, and decide, does this need a file from the cabinet or just a reply? They don't talk to the user, they just manage the workflow. Yep. The speaker, this is your personal, or this is your second Olama chat call. They are warm, friendly, and great at talking. They don't know there's a filing cabinet. They just receive the mail along with any notes the secretary found. Yeah, so okay, so yeah, we're like injecting the notes from the secretary. I like that. Okay, so core problems this technique solves. The small brain pressure. Context confusion. So that's another one, like context confusion. Confusion. Okay. So Llama 3.2 with 3 billion parameters have a limited attention span. So I'm going to say within this attention span. Okay, because I know that the like transform. So my context for this is like I've built LLMs, just like very basic LLMs that are determining the or classification of the MNES dataset, right? I don't know about how LLMs actually work. I've never built an LLM myself. I kind of want to do that in the future, but I'm trying to understand. Okay, well, how do the transformers work? And I know that there's something called attention mechanism, and that this is like vitally important. So, okay, attention span. Interesting. Does that have a context to the transformer and yeah, how does that work? When you give them tool definitions and a request to tell a story, the tool neuron and story neurons fight for space. Okay. Tool neurons and okay, yeah. The problem, the model gets overwhelmed and starts leaking JSON or using tools incorrectly. Your method ensures the speaker model never sees complex tool schema. It only sees plain text, which is much better at handling. Yes. As you saw in your logs, models often invent tools like generate story because they are trained to be helpful. Okay, yeah. If the model thinks its primary job is to use tools, it will force the user's request into a tool-shaped box, even if that box doesn't exist. The fix, the router. The secretary is very strict. Narrow prompt. Exactly. It is told it can only say no tool required or call a specific function. This constraint is much easier for a small model to handle. Here we go. In a standard one-step loop, the conversation history gets filled with assistant called tool X and tool X returned Y. The problem: over time, the model starts mimicking the technical behavior in its regular chat. It starts acting like a computer instead of a friend. By keeping the message array clean, the list remains a pure human-to-human dialogue. The AI never learns to be robotic from its own previous messages. All right, high-level technique, or technical technique, content injection. Okay. Content injection. Okay. The real magic happens when you sneak the tool output into the messages just before the final call. Instead of telling the AI, I used a tool and it said 20 degrees Celsius, now tell the user, you are essentially telling the AI, the user asked how it feels here. By the way, it's 20 degrees Celsius, answer them. Okay. To the LLM, this feels like internal knowledge rather than a technical task. And now I'm going to say, I don't know if those are keywords or not, but I'm just going to write that down. So internal knowledge versus a technical task. Okay, I doubt that one is, but I'm just trying to cover my bases a little bit. And then why it's perfect for my Judson. Okay. So I guess I can follow up on some of these questions. So first off, actually before I do that, I kind of want to troubleshoot. Do I want to ask follow-up questions to this, or do I want to try to see this? Let's try to get this working a little bit. I'm actually even just going to delete this. I don't care about this here anymore. So delete all of you. And now I can do attempt a new method of breaking out the system. Okay. So git add here, git commit -m, and then say just changed not troubleshooting, but like changed adjusted method. No, I don't know what I need to say. Adjusted what am I trying to even say? Used different temporary message, right? Temporary message with appended note from tool response instead of actually giving the clean history the tool response. Okay, something like that. All right. So now what I can do is take a sip of water and start on this. Okay, so okay, so we got an error, right? We need to fix that error. I want to fix the error. Copy you, and then we're going to come here and try to go through all of these different things. Okay. Actually, what we're going to do is we are going to keep our chat history clean. We are going to keep our chat history clean, and we're going to not do this. And we're just going to come here, and I'm going to ask it on a completely different message. Okay, so because yeah, I was even intuitively like not wanting to uh keep my messages dirty. All right, so this one's going to be more of the troubleshooting one. Go. All right. Validation error from is telling the is missing a field role. Response. This one here. The fix response dot message. Okay, so you need to append only the message portion. Okay, so more detail to watch out for. In your code, you're appending the user input to messages, but then modifying temp messages version to include context info. If you want the AI to remember that it checked the light for future parts of the conversation, you might. No, I don't want to do that. No, I do not want to do that. What is it trying to get me to do here? So current user message, role user, user input, and then temp message is equal to messages plus this dictionary. So a list with a dictionary in there. Okay. If this we add okay, so we're doing that to temp messages, okay? Then we change temp messages. Then we get this, and then we append messages with the current user message, which is up here, right? Yeah. And then only the message part. Okay, so that I think is my thing here. Message.append. So we're appending two things. We're appending this right here. But I thought we could do the entire response. We need response.message. Okay, so let's before we do this, I want to ask some follow-up questions. So, for more context, by the way, is Whisper actually working? How do you click or hold function to start dictate? Okay, for more context, I am trying to use a smaller model running on my local NVIDIA Nano, period. I was running into a problem where it will continually try to invent new tools or constantly use tools even if the user's request does not require it, period. This is why I am trying to keep the chat history completely clean, period. Okay, kind of like that. I used to use Whisper all the time, but then like they have the 1 month or whatever like time frame that you get the unlimited, right? So that I'll always use it, and then I hit the thing where it's no longer like unlimited, and so I don't even know how many, like until I hit the limit. I don't even know what the limit is. And so whenever, I don't know, it's a weird like human psychology thing. Like if you know that there's a limit, you just don't use it. Like you use it zero. If I don't think that there's a limit, I just use it whatever, right? And I don't even think about it. But if my brain is like, oh, I know that there is a limit, even if that limit is like, I don't know if I'm going to hit it, but I just like default to not using it because I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't want to, I don't know. It's a weird, isn't, I don't know if other people are like that, but I certainly am. If I know that there's a limit, I just like don't even, like my brain just doesn't even want to use it. Um, but it doesn't make sense. It's not logical. You might as well use it up to the limit, right? Okay. Anyways, so number one, uh, let's try to figure out. So this one is I want to understand. Uh, can you go back over why I am unable to just append response? I am new to the Olama framework. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is going to be okay. Do you still suggest with this updated context that I follow the same format which you are suggesting? Question mark. And so can you go into detail about how yours is working? Question mark. Okay. So that is going to be our follow-up here. So we need response dot message, right? Yeah. Okay. So the message portion of it, but we'll do this later. Okay. So why you can't just append response. So the Olama chat function returns a Python class, specifically a chat response model, not a simple dictionary. Think of it, Olama expects messages. What Olama expects in messages? A list of simple dictionaries. Role, assistant, okay. What response actually is, a massive container that includes the message, but also all of that metadata. Okay, so we're trying to append all that metadata. That's why. Okay, now it makes sense. Message, right? Singular. Okay. So what you did here, you put that entire container into your chat history. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So your idea to keep the chat history clean is actually a very smart strategy for a Jetson Nano. Smaller models have a hard time between the actual user instructions and the previous tool. So here, instead of permanently scarring your message history with tool data, use a shallow history temp message. Yeah, so that's what I did, right? Isolation. We keep messages as a pure record of the conversation. User said X, AI said Y. Okay. Injection. When a tool is triggered, we create temp messages. We take the last user message and append the sensor data to it. So what is the temperature? Internal note here. The illusion. The AI sees the combined string and thinks, oh, I happen to know the temperature is 20 and replies. Once the AI responds, we discard this temp message. We save the AI's natural response to the permanent message list, but not the internal system note. Okay. So why this stops tool looping. Smaller models often use a tool result in their history. I just used a tool, I should probably use another one. By keeping the system note out of the permanent history, the model forgets that it just used a tool. Every time the loop starts over, the model sees a clean conversation. Okay, so since you're on a nano, would you like me to show you how to add a confidence score to your tool determiner prompt? This can help prevent the model from triggering a tool when it's... Sure. I would love to hear about how to add a confidence score. Although we're getting kind of away... A confidence score. We're kind of getting away from... This one was supposed to be kind of a troubleshooting one. So this is going to be follow-up question number 1 right here. Okay, follow-up question number 2 is going to be, so just like, do you think this accomplishes my goal, or do you see any actual problems? So, confidence score, let's go down to here. Silent killers from your local model on the... Okay, so the copy pitfall. In Python creates a shallow copy, and we're back to shallow and deep copies, of the list. However, the dictionary inside the list are still the same objects. The risk. When you do this, you are actually modifying the string inside of message... Yeah, okay, that's kind of what I was getting at when I was like, oh, I need to... make sure that I understand, or like, I was concerned about that. Remember, like, whatever, I forget how long ago, but I was concerned about that, but I just trusted that, okay, well, here, they got it correct, but apparently they did not get it correct. Okay, so, deep copy or manually construct the message list to keep the history truly clean. Okay, so even though you aren't saving the context info, I'm going to see, hold on, get status. Okay. So here is an interesting question. Come on. So I'm going to come here and copy this, and follow-up question number 1 is going to be, I want to see the lines of code which I have changed between now and the last commit that I made. How can I do this? Okay. Like that. Awesome. So, bloat context. Even though you aren't saving the context info, once you fix the copy issue, the message list grows forever. Eventually, the nano will run out of VRAM and start getting extremely slow. All right, so implement a sliding window. Oh, here it comes. Here it comes, leak code. Sliding window. All right, to keep the history short. Awesome. Okay, so that's later. That we don't need that right now. The tool determiner is biased. By passing this to you're telling the model, here are your options. Even Llama 3.2 will sometimes trigger a tool just because it's available. Suggested improvement. Here's the copy bug and implement. Here's how to solve the copy bug and implement a simple confidence style check. Okay. All right. Okay, so now copy, deep copy. Okay. Let's I believe deep copy is can you go over deep versus shallow copy in regards to memory? Okay, so I believe deep copy, you are allocating new memory. Shallow copy, you're just creating a new I don't know. Okay. Okay, yeah, anyways. So construct a clean history. Creates a completely new dictionary for the current turn. to avoid shallow copy bugs. So we're creating this here, right? Temp messages is plus equals, so we're creating a current user message, and then temporary message, right, is equal to the current history, okay, the current history plus copy.deep copy, and we need to import copy, okay, copy.deep copy current user message, which is up here, right, which has just the clean stuff, okay, and then we go in and we append this context info, okay, to the temp message. Then we put the temp message in there, right? And then we append the user's message and this one's response. Okay. Version is often safer. Deep copy ensures that when we add context info to the temp messages, it does not leak into your clean message list. And show how my previous method was having a problem with deep versus shallow copy. We're show an example. Show an example. Okay. Now, we're not going to do the limit history yet. I want to come up here and we want to come back up to adding a confidence score just to see how this works. So smaller models are people pleasers. If you show them a list of tools, they often feel obligated to pick one. A confidence score forces the model to pause and evaluate the relevance of the tool. You can modify this tool determiner prompt to return a structured response. Since you are using tools parameter in Ollama, the model usually returns a tool call. However, for a confidence check, it's more reliable to ask for a raw text response first, or a specific argument within the tool. By the way, this is a, okay, so confidence scoring. Confidence scoring. Okay. So, if you show them, yeah. So, we want it to just be like I think instead of having it do the tool itself, like this tool calls field within the message of the LLM response, it should be like output a JSON or something in the response. So update this prompt message to say your task is to determine if a tool is required. Respond with a JSON object, this, with confidence here. Okay. Only set tool needed true if confidence is above 80. Oh, okay, got it. Alternatively, using your existing tool setup. Smaller models often hallucinate tools when the user says, "Hi, how are you?" because they see the tool definition in the system prompt. To fix this, you can add a confidence score parameter to your function definition, though this is more advanced. Okay, so the simplest is a negative constraint. So content. Determine if a tool is required if the user is just saying hello or being social or asking a general question not related to the room. Respond with tool not required. Do not use a tool unless it is explicitly about lights or temperature. Okay, so we could do that, right? This is the negative constraint. Okay, let's come here. And I want to see if I should, okay, so you can use the diff command. So, okay, so let's just try that. I want to see what this will come up with. So git diff here, and let's move this here, right? Okay. Git diff. All right. So this is the only thing that we changed. That thing right there. Okay. So let's we don't need to commit again. That's what I was trying to figure out. Green lines are what you added. If you've already staged the file using git add, you would need to add cached. So git diff cached. Okay. And then the file. Okay, so deep versus shallow. In Python, everything is an object. When you have a list of dictionaries, like message list, the list itself is just a container holding references, pointers to those dictionaries. Okay, the memory difference, shallow copy, so dot copy, creates a new container, but the items inside still point to the exact same memory address. Oh, okay, so we're creating a new object, but those objects point to the same location, yeah. Okay. I mean, I looked up deep and shallow copy in the past, but it was kind of something that always just came to bite me, and then I would just like, oh, okay, and then just do it again and again and again. So, okay, fine. Shallow copy, it's not recursive. Okay, so deep copy is recursive. That's how I need to remember it. So, creates a new container and recursively creates brand new copies of every object inside of it. Okay. Because it was a shallow copy, we're pointing to the exact same dictionary in my RAM. Okay, that makes sense. Here's a simplified example of the bug. So, original is content was hello, so shallow copy, right? And then I say shallow content here is this, and now we're pointing to the same dictionary, right? And now we print the original, and it's now with that. Okay. You want to avoid deep copy if your history gets very long, as it can be slow and more Pythonic and memory efficient. To reconstruct. Okay. It really wants me to do that sliding window. Instead of copying the whole list, just build a custom one for the LLM call. Okay, how is this different? Let's see. User turn is role user. Okay, so the original, or just the input, okay. LLM payload is messages plus build the prompt for the LLM to see, including the secret context, okay. So we're adding another thing. So role user content is user input, okay, plus context info, okay. And then response here is Olama chat, and then with this new one, we get the response, and then we add the user input, right? And then we add the messages. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So let's do that, right? Let's come here, and oh my goodness. Okay, so so let's try to figure out what we're doing, right? So using the LLM to determine if a tool is required or helpful. So tool determiner prompt, we have user input, right? So this one should be okay because this is in place, so we're not creating extra history, right? Then we send it here, and then it determines if it needs a tool or not. Okay, that's fine. Then we come in here and we go through each of the tools, and then we get this context info. Okay, so now here we go. Messages. This is what we need to be concerned about. So we do the role of user input. Now they're doing this user input down here, but I think it should be okay no matter where we do it, right? Okay. Or we could even put it like up here, right? But okay, whatever. Now we have this temp message is equal to messages.copy. And then I change temp messages, which is not what we want. Okay, now I see the problem. Now I see the problem. So what it's saying is we want this LLM to be equal to messages plus, okay. We're gonna get rid of you. So we're gonna, oh, Copilot came back. All right. Just because we can't permanently disable it. I need to look into the settings and see like how we can just permanently disable it. It is, I immensely dislike in text whatever. All right, so let's see, LLM payload, whatever. I'm gonna call it, all right, fine. LLM payload is equal to, and now messages, the original messages plus, and I'm trying not to look, we want a list, right, of a single dictionary element. And now we're going to take this list, put it together, and add the contents. So this one is going to be the note, essentially. And so now we are going to say, role here, okay, role is who. And so we're going to be adding the context, right? But we can't say tool. Who is this? I don't even know. User? Okay, so we're going to say that this is like a user thing. Okay, whatever. Sure. So the user, okay. And now content is going to be equal to what? It's going to be equal to context info, right? I think. Let's see. Is that what they did? User input plus, okay. But we already appended the user input. So now I see why we need to do it below. Okay. So, okay. So now I come here is context. So I'm going to say, because we haven't added the context yet. So now I'm going to say user input plus, right? String plus a string is going to be content. And now I want to send this new one to the LLM. Okay, so now I'm going to say LLM payload like this, okay? And now I'm going to get a response, and I want to append this response that I get, but I first want to say what the user said, right? So messages.append, and now we want simply just the user input, right? Which is going to be this entire thing right there. Okay. Just going to be this right there, right? Yeah. So we want this line. We just wanted to simply move this line. Okay. Kind of like that. With user input right there. Okay. So I am going to copy this. I'm going to come in here, and we are going to do this, paste that in there, put this here, Python 3 it, and hello, can you hear me? Okay. See if it gives a reasonable response, and this is a little bit, okay. Yes, I can. Awesome, awesome. This is, okay, good, good. Can you tell me a story? Can you tell me a story? Okay. Let's see if it crashes. Okay, here we go. So we kind of got this troubleshooting thing working. And now we do need to figure out later about the sliding window thing, but not right now. This is taking a little bit of it. Okay. So should we come? Oh, look at that. Okay, so nothing about tools. Awesome. So I feel like my room is so hot. What do you think? Okay, come on. Use a tool. Use a tool. Use a tool. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. If it works, I'm committing like right away. Okay. What? Let's see. It sounds like your room might be, and we didn't see the thinking, which means it didn't do it. Getting warm. Air conditioning. Okay. Obviously that did not work. Okay, so we're gonna quit out of that, and I'm gonna come into here, and I'm gonna say copy this, and we want to paste it into here. Okay, paste you into here, and now I want to paste this message in, right? This conversation. So, actually, I could have just done this. Copy you and paste you. Okay. Go. So, great catch. So we discussed, but it completely ignored the fact that it had access to a thermometer. The hidden data problem. In your current code, okay. When you asked about heat, the model received, I feel like my room is so hot. What do you think? Or a weird typo. It didn't realize that the system note is objective truth. It should use to answer the question. Okay, better prompt engineering. So to notice the data, we need to make sure that context info looks more authoritative instead of just appending the user sentence. Give it its own system voice or a clear content header. Okay. So knowledge base here. Knowledge base. Okay. And then add it. Okay. Also update your main system prompt, the one in messages, to tell the AI to look for that knowledge. Okay. And now back to the sliding window. Okay. Oh my goodness. It is fixated on the sliding window. So I'm gonna do git add here, git commit, just because we got something that kind of works, like it doesn't crash. I mean, so this current method will separate item chat histories such that the LLM does not see tool usage for the conversational chat. The model now responds, responds conversationally, but the tool selector is still not firing when we ask a question which requires a tool. Further development needs to take place. Okay. So push origin main. All right. There we go. So now what I want to do is now I want to actually go through and try to figure out these kind of, okay, well, what is the problem, right? So it's talking about like 50 to 100 entries, but here's the thing, right? Like we're not doing, like we're just testing right now. We're only going to have like 5 entries, okay? Once we actually start making it more advanced, like once we start using it, right, then we want to implement those things. But right now, I'm just trying to get it to actually work, trying to get it to use the tool, right? But also, like, I don't even think it used the tool because I didn't see this thinking, right? It didn't do thinking. I'm gonna even put that as a, my code will print whatever thinking. Will print this if there was a tool which was required or selected by the LLM. This indicates to me that the LLM did not even attempt to use a tool, comma, is this in conformance with your understanding, question mark? If so, comma, how can I rectify this situation, question mark? Okay. All right, so let's look what it says here, right? Like hidden data problem in in your current code. This LLM payload messages here role user content is equal to user input plus context info. Put that into here, right? When you asked about heat, context info became internal system note 20 degrees Celsius. The model received, I feel like the room is so hot, what do you think? Internal system note is this. Okay, so then it's like, oh, this guy's a weirdo. He's putting just like random thoughts together. So system note, this internal system note should be like objective truth, right? Okay. So now for the Jetson Nano to notice the data, we need to make context info look more authoritative instead of just a random note to ourselves. instead of just appending it to the user sentence. Giving it, that's why actually when I was like, oh, what are we doing here? And I said, oh, user? Okay. That's kind of what I was getting at. Okay. It's nice to know that my thinking is kind of in conformity with what's with like I was hesitant on it when I initially put it there. So my gut feeling is actually kind of aligning with reality. So that's kind of cool. Um, yeah, right. So, anyways, let's come here. Instead of just appending it to the user's sentence, give it its own system voice or a clear context header. So we could do something like this, I believe. I think we could do this, right? Why can't I just do this, right? Like, I was thinking about just doing this and then adding that to my, just like getting rid of this and then putting that in there. But then it's going to, and then changing this to system. Is that going to work? Would that work? So I can append this here, right? I can do that. And then I change this to system. Okay. And then I delete this like this. Okay. And now I can just do copy this. Okay. So now, do you think this will work? Is this what you were talking about when you just mentioned that you want me to change it to a system voice? Question mark. Because you mentioned two separate techniques, comma, one is system voice, comma, and the other one is a clear context header, period. And then you showed me the context header, period. Okay, anyways, like this, and then I paste that into there. Okay, so now we come here and we could do, okay, so context info, we do content or knowledge injection, and then we do knowledge base here. Oh, why is it? I can't copy and paste. Oh, okay, whatever. Knowledge base, and then context info, knowledge base. Okay. And then we put that into the LLM thing to say, like, okay, here is our injection, right? And then in the main system prompt, the one with the messages list, okay, to tell the LLM to look up that knowledge. So messages, system, you're a friendly AI companion. If the user provides knowledge base, so this format, use it to give a specific answer. For example, if the user knowledge base says it is 20 degrees Celsius, tell them the exact temperature. Okay. Interesting. So we are adding this thing called knowledge base, which is just a header tag, right? An opening and closing tag. And then we are putting that into the context to the user. Interesting. Okay, so we can try that method if this one doesn't work. So, and then it wants to talk about the memory management. Oh my goodness. Okay, so if the message, I'm just gonna do it because it keeps telling me about it. Oh my goodness. Okay, keep the system prompt index 0 plus the last 10 messages. So if the length of the messages is here, messages is, okay, fine. So, fine. If length of messages is above 11, then we want to messages is equal to what? Is equal to a list, which is messages at 0, the 0th index. Wait, hold on, what? Plus this, we're slicing an array, so plus, and then messages sliced at the negative 10th, right? So the 10th back to the end. So keep the system prompt. I don't want to deal with this right now because that just adds extra complexity. I don't want to do that. I'm trying to solve my question. I can put this as kind of like a. I can put this as kind of a. An addendum. Response dot. Okay, I can put this as an addendum here, but then we're gonna hashtag these out. This is for later, not right now. Just deal with it. Okay. So now is not thinking. You are correct. If you didn't see thinking, I need to use in your terminal. When you asked, I feel like the room is hot, it means the LLM determiner decided that the tool was not necessary. So we need to actually change, are very literal. Your prompt for the determiner says look at the user's input and determine if one of the following tools is required. When you say, I feel like the room is hot, the model might think that you are venting or making a statement rather than asking for data. To a tiny model, that doesn't explicitly scream run temperature tool. How to rectify? If you need to broaden the temperature here, change the system prompt to determine if the user is asking about or mentioning room conditions like heat, cold, or lighting. If they mention being cold or hot, use temperature tool. If they mention it being dark or bright, use light tool. Okay. Now it says that might cause a problem. Oh my goodness. Okay. You've combined the two ideas in your code snippet. Okay. The LLM payload here plus this. The problem, most models are trained to see system role at the very beginning of the conversation. When you append a system message at the very end, after the user's question, many models get confused. They think, why is the boss giving me new rules after the customer has already spoken? Okay. On a Jetson Nano, the model might prioritize the user's text because it's the most recent thing it saw and ignore the system prompt. Okay, so let's recommend. Okay, so instead of a new role system entry, we inject the knowledge into the conversation as if it was a background process. So it wants me to do the other one. Why it's better is because of it's chronologically accurate. It follows the real conversation. Okay, attention. By using user role or a tool, if the model supports it, the model sees it as fresh information. Okay. So now let me come. Hey, it finally didn't do the sliding window. I just want to keep git commit -m. Okay, so changed the prompt to change the flow flow to have the system prompt tell the LLM the information which was given by the tool. This seems to not work because the LLM gets a system prompt at the very end and doesn't see that the user prompt right above it is what it should be answering. Okay, there we go. So now we are going to change this once again. So how do we want to do this? We want to delete this. We want to just get rid of this. Okay, you are gone. Okay, so now you are gone too. Just get out of here. So this old one, we don't need this anymore. You are gone too. Okay, you are gone too. So we have this tool determiner and we have this message. Okay, and we need to change the rules here. Okay, so that it will like actually fire. Okay, so now what I want to do is we need to have this thing up here, which is like, I like the way that it did it, like knowledge base. I like that. Okay, so we need to add that knowledge base. So here, in the system for messages. Okay. In a helpful way. Okay. But if I do this thing with knowledge base, it's going to pollute it. It's going to pollute my okay, so I'm going to put this attempting to add information about, and then this one is knowledge base, which gives additional information. So yeah, this could possibly bias the LLM towards strange things, but I will see. Okay. So now I am going to say this, and now we need to make this a 3 thing. So ding, ding. Okay. And now we make you a ding, ding. And we come down here and say, if the user provides this knowledge base, knowledge base data, use it to give a specific answer. Use it to give a specific answer. Now, for example, if the knowledge base says 20 degrees Celsius, tell them the exact temperature. If knowledge base is given, if LEDGE base is given, respond to the user by telling them the exact telling them the information given. Okay. Okay, so there we go. And we also do need, I think that we need to change this, right? We do need to change that. But first, we need to come in here and do this like actual knowledge base thing here. So we're going to get rid of you again. Sorry, we're going to get rid of you again. Okay, so now we come here and we say what? We get this, and let's assume that it does trigger, right? We're going to get this context info, and we are going to, I'm going to get rid of you, just trying to declutter a lot of things. We're going to get this, and now we want to, at this point, we have not appended anything to our actual messages, right? So we want to inject this knowledge base, right? So now I want to say, I'm trying not to look over there. We'll figure this out, okay? Right, let me even just go like that, right? So now I want to say, like, if context info, then I want to change this though. Okay, so I don't want this internal system no. I now want maybe knowledge base, right? Something like this. Knowledge base, like that. And then at the end of it, why are we doing that? At the end of it, I want here with the, is it like that or like this? I can't remember which one is the closing, but knowledge base, kind of like this. Ow. So now we're adding this to context info, right? Now if we get the context info, I want to just add this to my okay, I don't want this to be system, so we're gonna get rid of you, right? And we just want to use this one, right? Okay, so if context info, then I want this LLM payload. LLM payload is going to be equal to it's going to be equal to so it needs to be a list, right? And it's going to be messages, the clean messages, plus, okay, and we haven't appended anything yet, so we need to do plus role here, right, is going to be now user, right? And now it is going to be content here, right? And now we are going to inject a user input plus context info here, okay? So that's in the case that we do have it. Otherwise, we are going to say else LLM payload is equal to messages plus, and I don't know if we should be doing this because it's like doing a lot of extra stuff, but okay. I don't know what the memory or what the time complexity for that is. Plus nothing. It's just messages. Okay. Hopefully that this is just a pointer essentially. That way it's not copying over anything. If that, it's just an O of 1 operation. And now we put that into there. We get the response. Okay. And I want to put this comment up here to paste that into there, right? And now I want to get rid of you here. And now we have this. We have this response, okay? And this is going to be the response. And now we need to give it the user's response, right? So I believe we need to do this. I believe we need to append role user content and just the input. So this is what the user asked, and then this is what the model responded, and then we print what the model responded. Okay, I think this is what it was doing. So let's come back over here, and we also need to change the system prompt. We have not done that one yet. Oh wait, yes we have, but we need to change the prompt determiner. Messages sliding way back to this. Yeah. So maybe like this. Determine if. Okay. So this is what it's saying, and let's come here. Let's come here. Copy this. Okay. Paste that into there. Then come here and do like this. Okay. That, and now we're going to get rid of this and determine if the user is asking or mentioning about. So let's just completely get rid of this and say determine if the user is asking or mentioning room conditions like heat or cold, like heat or cold. Come on. Where am I? Like heat, cold, or lighting. Lighting. If they mention being hot or cold, use the temperature tool, okay? If they mention being dark or bright or lights, use the lights tool. So this one, I don't feel quite comfortable with it because uh, it should it should be trying to get the intent of the thing, not just this one is more explicit. It's like, oh, the user explicitly said hot or cold, or so this is more like programmatically determining it. So I don't feel comfortable with this, and I'm even going to say that I don't quite feel comfortable with this change in the system prompt because this is explicitly telling the LLM what keywords to look out for, period. This is much more similar to programmatically using keywords to branch, period. Instead, I should be using the LLM to determine intent of the question to see if it matches a tool. So I'm putting this purposefully here so that I don't forget to like go back to it and change it because I don't like it. I do not like this. And now, okay. So I'm gonna come here and I am going to copy all of this and paste it into here and say, now how does it look? Okay. Okay, so it looks more robust. I've successfully done this and this and this. I completely understand your hesitation about using the keywords in the LLM world. Your new prompt is actually leveraging intent recognition rather than keyword matching by saying if they mention being hot and cold, you're letting the LLM use its semantic understanding. Okay, fine. If the user says I'm shivering, a keyword search would fail, but your LLM determiner would understand that shivering relates to cold and would trigger the tool. Oh, okay. This is exactly where LLMs shine over traditional code. Awesome, awesome. Okay. The payload. By appending user input and context info only inside the LLM payload, you've created contextual injection, which we already have. Context injection is one of my keywords. Yep, there it is. Only inside LLM payload, the model gets the data it needs for your current thought. Okay. A few small adjustments for nano stability. There are two tiny syntax that might cause a hiccup. Okay, in your context info string, you have a typo in the closing tag. Small models are very sensitive to syntax patterns. If you open here, you should close it with, okay, so it is the other one. This way, right? You should close it with this. This helps the model delimitate, separate the data from the user chat. Okay, the LLM payload. When no tool is used, look at your else block here. The problem, if no tool is used, message only contains the history up to the previous turn. It doesn't include the... Yes. Okay. So that is a good point. Messages plus user input. Messages, but this, then I need to have user input, but this is just a string. I need to encapsulate it within the... No, I shouldn't have deleted the other thing. It's right here. Okay. Like this. Messages plus a list within here. Role user. Okay. Okay. And just make sure it's so that way we're not wasting our time. Messages plus encapsulated in content is this, like user input, right? And Okay, so this, or this is going to just be empty, right? Okay, fine. I think this accomplishes the same thing though. Okay, come on, come on, come on, come on. So we go cat here and paste this in, do this, and now run it. Oh, come on. Tell me a story. Okay, let's see what it does now. Stories seem to take a little bit longer because it's like generating a lot of tokens. And then if it successfully does this, we'll go and try to see. All right. Tiny village. Feel like it is freezing in here. So freezing in here. I didn't say room and I did not say cold. Okay. Thinking. Yes. Temperature in room. Yes. Okay. Since it's a chilly 20 degrees Celsius. Yes! Yes! This is exactly what I wanted. Yes! Yes! It did the tool and then it didn't tell me anything about like any weird JSON popping up, anything. It did the tool, it grabbed the information, right? And then in the response, it integrated that information, right? The 20 degrees Celsius, which we put right there, it integrated that into the answer and gave it in a conversational way. This is exactly what I wanted. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is amazing. That is amazing, 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 amazing. Okay. What we are going to do now is I am going to save my work. I'm going to save. Okay. So get and then add here, get commit -m. The system now works. We are able to successfully talk with the LLM in a conversational way, okay? And we are also able to mention things without invoking the specific keywords related to the available tools which the LLM has access to, and the LLM will invoke that tool, get the data, and then respond with that data integrated into the response in a friendly and conversational way. Exclamation mark. Go. Wait. Wait, why? Wait, what's going on? -m. What? That's annoying. Okay. So. what's going on with this. Oh, this is all messed up. Oh, this is all messed up. Okay. Where is my success? Add, and then all of this, the specific key, whatever. Okay, so we are gonna just put that into here. What happened? What happened here? Okay. A lot of times, like, the command line interface just does weird things. A multi-line string. Okay. Just how to fix it. Control C here. Finish the command. Okay. Oh man, did I lose all my text? Okay. Darn. Command C. Come on. Control C. Okay. We are now. Okay. Git commit, right? Like this. But where did my thing actually, like, where is the actual problem? The system, we are, okay. So, I'm not sure exactly where it can, okay, come on. This is, I think it's right. I'm gonna delete all of that, and then, which we were able to, yeah, so this is what I said. Oh, this is so slow. Is there a faster way to do this? Okay. Eventually it'll get there. Eventually. Come on now. Come on. Here we are. We are able to success. So I'm going to say, like, the system now works. There. 3 things here. Okay. Let's see if this does it. No! Where? Where is my issue? I'm not seeing anything broken. I don't see anything broken. I don't see anything broken. Okay. Still going. Where is my specific thing? You were saying exclamation marks inside the double quoted. Oh, it doesn't like. Okay. It doesn't like exclamation marks. Okay, so the easiest way to include exclamation marks in a git commit message, take. Okay. Is this exactly what I wrote? The system now works. We are able to successfully, in a conversational way, and we are also able to mention things without. We were able to mention things without invoking the specific keywords related to. Integrates the data in a friendly and conversational way. Okay. Fine. We will do it. We will do it this way. There. Okay. So we needed to use the single quotes. Okay, fine. It didn't like the exclamation marks. Git push origin main. Go! We saved it. We pushed it out. All right. This is amazing. Oh, I'm so happy. I am so happy. This is exactly what I was wanting. This is exactly what I was envisioning. Okay. So, by the way, what we do need to do is remember this. We came back. We kind of separated the chat. This one was more of kind of like just even the troubleshooting. This one is more of the I want the higher level concepts, and we were talking about this method which I was able to use to solve it, which is like the router. And so we need to come back into here and kind of like go back and try to really understand, okay, awesome, we got it working. Now let's try to really understand all of the different contexts in which this um, technique, this methodology can actually be utilized, right? So we need to be able to understand, all right, awesome. We were able to be successful here, but what are the other contexts in which this like content injection and router technique actually will be able to help us? And that way in the future when we're able to go when we're going and looking at other like projects that we're trying to do with LLMs and agents, we're able to keep that in the back of our head. And we run into something where we say, "Hey, I really want to accomplish this." Something's going to trigger in our LLM and say, "Hey, hold on a second. I remember this being a technique and that might be useful in this use case," right? So we need to go back over here, um, and we kind of understand how we were doing this, um, and then we also need to obviously make this a little bit better in terms of just making it more succinct. And then from that, we can start expanding it out and adding more tools, making these tools real. Because right now they're just returning a static number, right? And I don't even really want temperature in room or maybe I want status of lights. I don't really know how I'm going to be doing this. I was thinking about, okay, well, how can I actually add these tools? Initially, before I got the Nano, or before it arrived and I started playing with it, I was initially thinking that, okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have these tools and they are going to be able to run on, or they're going to run this Python script here, the orchestrator, and then they are also going to have my C# application which is running the tools. And so these tools are going to invoke my C# application, which is going to be doing more of the actual like logic for turning on and off the lights. That has changed. I'm not going to be able to get the .NET runtime to be able to be in the same memory as this while I'm running these models. No. I realized that now that we've started playing with it, we've really been hitting the limitations of, okay, well, now we have all of these constraints. How do we make the system work within the constraints that we're given? And I really want to prioritize every single like unit within my 8 gig RAM space on my unit. So I'm thinking that possibly what I do is I just use these tools. So this is in the future. I use these tools to invoke like a Ethernet call or something like that. And then here on my MacBook, I have a server which is just listening for Ethernet, like whatever it is, requests coming to it, right? And then my MacBook is running the .NET runtime, and my MacBook is able to deal with all of those requests, and then it sends a response back to my Jetson, and that's how this interaction works. And then if we need to like turn on and off the lights, that would be like whatever. I need to buy maybe like a light controller that has Ethernet connection, and maybe I can send it out there. We'll see where we go from there. But as of right now, the tools are just static. But we were trying to get the logic for it. So, oh my goodness, I am so excited about this. All right, so yeah, next steps, we're going to try to understand all of these concepts. We're going to try to poke around and see what else we can find. And then from there, then we're going to move into, okay, well, how do we make things more complex? How do we make it where it's more useful? What is the use cases, right? The other thing that I want to do is do voice to text. So I want to be able to attach a microphone and a speaker to it. I want to be able to talk to it. I want it to be able to transcribe my voice into text, put that to the LLM, process it, and then respond back with a voice. The other thing that I want to do is be able to get it to be bilingual. I want it to be both English and Chinese. So when I speak to it in English, it goes and responds to me in English, right? And then when I talk to it in Chinese, I want it to be, I want it to process it and then respond back to me in Chinese. Okay, so we're going to separate that. And actually, that's actually that we can use it for this exact technique that we developed today, which will be, I'm envisioning, right? We keep a separate history, an English history and a Chinese history. And from that, we're able to have a conversation. Although there, if I talk in English, right, and then I talk in Chinese, it actually loses all of the context with the English message. So there's some things that we need to think about of how we want to implement it and how we want it to work. But overall, like, I am very happy with how this is turning out. I am so excited. I am very, very, very happy about all of this. Um, oh, I'm so excited. I'm so happy that it worked. Look at this. This is beautiful, 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 beautiful. Oh my goodness. I love this so much. It worked. Okay. So yeah, that is the next steps which we are doing. So if that is interesting to anyone, subscribe and we can go on this journey together. We can learn as much as we can together and stumble upon that's another thing that I love doing with these projects is just stumbling upon interesting concepts and ideas and playing with them and understanding things more and more and just exploring. So we're going to keep doing that. If that's interesting, subscribe. Love to have you along. Thank you for watching. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right.